Hey guys, just got to the office. A couple days ago, I got Joey a gift. I got him the sets of headphones because like mine broke and then his broke too. So I went to got him this. He was so happy when I got him this, but for some reason it doesn't work. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Luna over here. I'm a real estate agent here in Philly. In today's video, I'm going to go over 10 things that I made as mistakes as a new real estate agent. So if you guys have watched my channel and follow my journey, you guys know I started as an agent in the beginning of 2018. So it's my third year in the business of real estate as an agent. All these 10 mistakes that I have made, it's pretty much an updated version. So let's get into the video. The first one I have to say is at the beginning of my journey, I've always said yes to pretty much everything and also everyone. Now that I think back about it, I really shouldn't, without filtering out like clients and things, just to say yes to begin with. Although when you are new, first 6 months, I do suggest you guys to kind of try out everything, like taking on buyers and work with investors, and then just kind of see what you are good at and what are the things that you absolutely hate to do. So that way you can find out what's the most efficient way for you to build your business. Number 2 is to pick up calls during prospecting hours. So for those of you who don't know what prospecting means, that is basically lead generation. And when you're on the phone calling for sell by owner or talk to expire sellers, and then also just call the neighborhood up and down and asking them if they were thinking about selling their house, this is, you know, called the prospecting. So when I'm really busy, when I have a lot of active listings, I've made mistakes where if there's a stranger number call me, I'll always pick up the phone call when I was on the different line, or when agents are calling me that on my separate deals, and then I would pick up when I'm prospecting. Or if there's a stranger number and I thought it was a potential seller, so I would go and pick it up, and then, you know, rather than prospecting on the phone. So that interrupts my routine. Now what I'm doing instead is, if I'm prospecting for the next like 2 hours, I will not take up any phone calls unless it's my current seller. I know my seller usually don't call me unless there's a problem, or I can text them and be like, hey, if it's an emergency, please text me, or I'll give you a call in 2 hours. If it's a random number, this is something I also find. A seller who's thinking about listing their home, they always end up leaving you a voicemail. They won't just give you a call and then bounce back to like call a different agent. They always leave you a voicemail and tell you they were thinking about putting their house on the market. So you don't have to be worried about you're missing out on the chance of like getting a listing, because prospecting time is so crucial, and you do not want any distraction when you're prospecting of like new business and new leads. Next one is to be patient, especially when there's a problem. So if you're in real estate, you probably know this already, there's always comes like up and downs with the mood swing, and there's always problem occur every time when there's a deal. It's never really smooth. Before you made it to closing table, there's always like different obstacles. So for me, I tend to like freak out if there's a big issue. I love to come to work, and one of the reasons I love coming to work is Joey is like 2 doors down. If there's any major problem that I've never faced before, I always go to my broker and ask him what to do. So I stopped like freaking out. What I do instead is I am very patient and calm, and I listen to the problem and I try to figure out myself, and I really cannot figure it out. I go to Joey. I found a solution. Sometimes there are multiple solutions, right? And then I call my seller and let my seller to pick which way they want to pick. And also, I don't freak out for my seller. So I used to freak out as I'm the seller and put myself in their shoe, but really I'm just a passenger. Number 4 is like the relationship you have with your client. Sometimes, especially when I first started, I can't really tell the difference between like a real client and a fake client. So what I tend to find out is like on social media, sometimes I'll always have people like hit me up and be like, hey, I want to buy a house and this is my budget, this and that. So I'm like, okay, yeah, let me show you homes. And then it turned out that they're not actually looking to purchase, or maybe they just wanted to see houses with me and meet me in person. And that is really frustrating. So what I'm doing right now instead is I'm trying to focus on my seller leads, qualifying a seller if it's their true seller, if they're actually looking to sell. And if somebody who's looking to purchase, what I tend to do is I give them to my buyer's agent. So I don't really take on buyers, and if they're serious, they will go out and look homes with my buyer agent. That should be taken care of. And what I'm really wanted to talk about on this part is sometimes I find, you know, how like your client tend to flirt with you because you're women and men. There is a boundary there, right? So what you can do is you can't really control other people's behavior. As long as it's within the boundary, if they're just joking, I think it's not going to be a big deal if you make a big deal. So what I tend to do is I will stay in my role and then kind of just do what I'm supposed to do as far as like coordinate showings. And you know, if they text me something, if they're texting me like after 10 p.m. and it's not a big deal, I won't really respond. Even when I saw it, I'll probably just respond the next day, just so I give them like a habit of, you know, like I'm not available 24/7. Even if it's an emergency, I'll take care of it, but if not, it can wait the next day. So I'm trying to like secretly set up that boundary between me and my client, so just so there's no confusion and I can stay very professional. So next one, number 5, is to be careful of who you are associating yourself with. So with this one particular, what I have in mind is when I first started, I would always want to join a lot of social events and then, you know, go to some drinking like parties and meet other lenders and realtors. But what I find out right now is it's really unnecessary because these people are not really going to give you the business. What you should really focus on your majority of the time is to spend the time with people who are qualified, legit buyers or sellers. So what I tend to do instead right now is I spend more time on prospecting, I spend more time on talking to qualified sellers and make YouTube videos, because with my YouTube videos and content right now I have 2 channels. So both these channels are kind of searching leads for me passively without me doing anything. So if people who are searching like Philadelphia real estate agent, they're gonna find my YouTube videos. If they are searching that in Chinese, I also have a Chinese YouTube videos that they can find me. And I'm telling you guys, on my Chinese, my second channel, I've only have less than 200 subscribers, but I've gotten like phone calls from people speak Mandarin and they want to look for homes in Philly. And that is just so mind-blowing right now. So I want you guys to really pay attention to this part, is to put content out there and use YouTube as a search engine to capture some leads for you and your city. Just use that as a keyword. Next one. Spend money and vacation. Oh, that's a good one. So on my first year, I closed a couple deals with buyers and I went to Cancun. I don't know why. I don't think I was that stressed out that I really needed a break. Even though right now I have so many actives and current business, I'm still not stressed out. I don't know why people would ever be stressed out. I think if you have a really balanced work and life, you know how to control, like set boundaries between you and your client, you will never really be burned out or stressed out. And therefore you don't really need a vacation. I mean, if I honestly need to take a vacation, what I would do is just take one day and just sleep. Like I just capture all my sleep and stay at home and eat junk food. I mean, that's what I would do. I would call it vacation and I spend $0. I don't know why I went to Cancun. It just looks cool, and I see all the other agents when they make big commissions and they kind of just want to put it on social media. They're like, hey, I'm in Cancun. So that's what I did, and I think that was a mistake. Number 7 is to overprice listing. So on this one, I've made mistakes when I took listings at the very beginning. I just thought that if I tell my seller his house is worth more than he thought, that I would more have a likely chance of getting that listing, which is true. However, you are kind of destroying your relationship with your seller when you're working with them, because you set a false hope and you are not fulfilling and, you know, like fulfill your promise to the seller, because you gave them thinking that their house is worth more than it actually is. So right now what I do instead is I don't really set a price to my seller. I just tell my seller how much he think it's worth, and I'll give him my broker opinion. But then I told him, I said, hey, the market is the market. We can't really predict what's gonna happen, you know, 2 months down the road, especially right now with what's going on. So let's just put it up. If you want to put it up high, that's fine, but we just have to do a price cut if we're not getting any offers within a week. So that's what I do instead. Next one is not enough follow-up and follow-up calls. When I was an agent, when I was new, I was so terrified to make follow-up calls. I don't know why. I think maybe like I was bothering my prospect. But now when I think back about it, when I'm getting a lot better at asking questions and qualify how good of the seller leads they are, what I tend to do right now is I love doing my follow-up calls, because I've been talking to them. I know exactly what's going on. I share their concerns. I know when it's best time for them to sell. So instead, my motive changed. I'm not just there an agent to kind of make a commission. I'm there to actually help them, to make the move easier, to make them make a lot more money with the transaction if they can sell it right now rather than wait 6 months down the road. So I've been more confident with my follow-up calls and more frequent with my follow-up calls. But I did not do that at the beginning when I was a new agent. Next one. I'm very selective on clients. So when you've been doing it for long enough time, you will understand people who enjoy working with you are the client that you should spend most of the time on. If this prospect does not have a motivation, they don't have the respect for you, to me as a real estate agent, it's just a big no-no, because I've had so many clients who appreciate my work. Why would I have to discount my commission, or even, you know, just set the bar a lot lower to work with that particular client? So I don't really want to do that, and that's just something that I didn't realize at the beginning when I was selling real estate. And last but not least is to ask the right question. Same thing goes if you're on the phone, you wanted to ask questions a lot slower, and you won't be the one to take control of the whole conversation. And that's something that I wasn't aware of, and then also not very confident of, because I didn't think that I was the one that have the right to ask the question, because I was so new. But I mean, I guarantee you guys, you will get there after a few years of, you know, the experience and the mistakes that you've made. You guys will get the confidence that you deserve. And then at that time, you should be very comfortable of being the one that control the conversation and dominate the conversation and ask all the right questions. So that's also very crucial. So here are the 10 mistakes that I have made when I was a new real estate agent. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and be sure to comment down below, comment fortune cookie, subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!